welcome back to my channel. So today I'm going to be going over my top 5 favorite books of 2021, and I am very excited to share these books with you. They hit home to me for many different reasons, so let's get into it. Actually, before I get into it, I wanted to give a shout out to my book Instagram account that I've been doing with my friends. It's called The Book Babes. We have grown over like 100 followers in such a short amount of time. So thanks to anyone and everyone that has followed our book page. I'll be doing a book review here shortly with my friends of our December pick. And I'll throw that up on the screen real quick, but we'll be doing a review on this book in a few days. We'll be filming tomorrow, but when I get it uploaded, I don't know. That's another issue. But yeah, I'm really excited to tell you guys about my thoughts on this book and theirs. So it'll be fun, but we plan on doing this once a month on my channel of our book of the month and what we thought on it. And I don't know if you guys want to see any other group ones, but let me know in the next one with them so you guys can kind of see our chemistry and thoughts and stuff like that. Anyways, I'm going to start with book number 5. Book number 5 is Glint by Raven Kennedy. Now, this is book number 2 in her series. The 4th one is coming out in May, I believe. But anyways, the 4th one isn't what we're talking about. We're talking about the 2nd book. Now, the 2nd book is probably my favorite one so far. I'm currently reading the 3rd. I can't wait to give my review on the 3rd one. So far, I already cried just because something about it hit home, and I'll share in my January reads when I finish it. But Glint, it was so good. It is definitely a woman empowering book. I feel like she's definitely the main character has found herself or is on the path of finding herself, and that's something I definitely relate to. You can see my I hope you don't see my dog. He got shaved so he don't look so cute. Here, Joey, go. Okay, let's go. I did not brush him as much as I should have. Anyways, back to Glint. The character is on this like finding journey, but with the help of others, and it is so endearing to see others want to help her recognize her worth and realize that she is so much more than what she thinks that she is. And I love that people are like wanting her to realize that. And her world has also just been like flipped upside down in so many different ways, and it's crazy to hear her journey. And I will preface that there's a lot of talk about sexual abuse or the potential of it in all of these, which is really hard sometimes to read, or even be, it makes it sometimes hard to read. But yet through so much of this, the strength that she has and that her determination to be more, and the way that she's finding herself and the way that she cares for others is so endearing and just wow. Like I love that about a main character, that they can be going through so much and just endure and show that there is so much more life to after what happens. So I think that's part of the reason why I really liked Glint, is just that there's so much more to you, like in your journey. Like, don't let one defining or like one moment defy who you are. You're going to be so much more. You have so much life ahead. Okay, that is my little spiel on Glint. Okay, number 4 is Night Country by Melissa Albert. I read this one probably in like June or so, July, maybe, like definitely early on into me restarting reading. And I got back into reading around like May, June-ish. So I would say that this was definitely early on. And I read the first book to this too, which I did love. But the second one held so much more meat to the bones, like more story to it, more like action, more emotion, more everything. And the first book, the author has created some of these dark fairy tales, like that are to her, like not like Hans Christensen or like, you know, your normal fairy tales. Like these are ones that she made up and that she made the characters think like these are like classics, and which I think is pretty cool, like to not only create a whole storyline but also classics, you know, like fairy tale classics, like how the mind of an author, my gosh. Anyways, a lot went on in Night Country and it was pretty dark fantasy and I loved it. I felt like that was just super cool to experience all these like emotions, like the ups and downs, and I felt like I was like almost like there with the character. There was times where I actually like went to a bookstore and I thought of the main character. I was like, oh, is this like what she, like, oh, is this what she experienced? Like, I don't know. I love when I can get so into a book that I put myself in the shoes, or I think of something in real life, present day, and I'm like, what would the main character of this book do? Like, that's how I know a book is actually good, is by me being able to place myself in their shoes, or like, you know, think of them when I'm out and about. Okay, book number 3, House of Salt and Sorrow, by Erin Craig. And oh, this was another really good dark fantasy book. It was riveting. It was just a huge page turner, and it was just like nonstop action towards like the very end of the book. And my heart was pounding at the end. I sat there for like 30 minutes after and my heart was still thumping, like, oh. It was such a good book, so intense, twists I didn't see. It definitely follows a lot of like, I wouldn't say that, I don't know if it's necessarily Greek mythology, but it definitely has some type of mythology in it with some deities. And I think that's super cool when other deities are involved, or like religions, like stuff that's not pertaining to like Christianity. I think it's pretty cool. And I love reading about other religions, or like learning about other stuff, or just like, I don't know, made up stuff. Who knows? Anyways, this was super good. It was just like there's a lot of death, and there was just a lot of like gross things that creeped me out, and I don't do creepy well, so it definitely was just a really good book. It was dark, and I would definitely recommend it. Definitely not one to read at night, because you will have nightmares if you're a baby like me. So read it at your discretion at night. But that was definitely one of the top ones, because that was the first book I read this year that was like, there has to be merch, right? And I immediately went on Etsy and started looking for merch, and I did ask for some merch for Christmas, but I did not get it, and then I kind of forgot about it, and here we are with me remembering it. So I'll probably eventually get one, a shirt that's like, it's like the family crest, which is an octopus, and the family name is Thomas, spelt a little differently, so I thought that was pretty cool. Anyways, book number 2 is A Court of Thorns and Roses. Oh my gosh, like the writing of the author, of Sarah J. Maas, I believe that's how you pronounce the last name, but incredible. Like, I felt like I was there, or I was like experiencing it, and I was Feyre, so okay, I was her. I was the main character. That there were times where there was like one scene where I sat down and pretty much just meditated. I was like, what am I hearing? What am I seeing? Do you think where they are, is there any sense? What would you, like, what do you think that they're smelling too? Like, what do you think is attributing to the scene? And I was just like, oh my gosh, I don't think I've actually ever really done that before. Like, where I've just like thought about all those things, like what does the hearing, you know, like, and the smell, like I felt like that was a little intense for me to like be thinking about smell and like thinking about the grass that they were sitting on. Like, I was very into that scene because I was just like, whoa, she just got revealed something huge. So what is she experiencing? Like, I want to experience that. It was I got displaced, like I disassociated from like real life, and I was in those books experiencing it with the main character. And I think that's why I loved it so much, was just because I was taken someplace else, and it wasn't necessarily a scary environment like House of Salt and Sorrows, because I would not want to be transported in time like to this to that place, but I would want to be taken to where A Court of Thorns and Roses takes place. I would want that, and I want to be taken to Night Court, so I'm very excited for book number 2. So this is all my TBR for January back here. I know I have a Holly Jolly Diwali. It's a hopeful read. I honestly don't know if I'll be able to finish any of those. For sure I'll have to finish this one because that is our book of the month for January. Anyways, I'm getting sidetracked. Okay, let's talk about my top book of 2021. Okay, it is House in the Cerulean Sea by TJ Klune, I believe. Wow, I read it in 2 days, and I read this while I was on vacation. I was getting some Harry Potter vibes, so I think that's also like why it kind of like attributed to my favorite. But man, it was a different world. Let me just tell you that. It was different to imagine these kids. It was very different than what I was thinking. I think the first few chapters I was very uncertain of what we were reading, because I was reading this with my friends, and I was just like, I didn't realize that there was like fantasy creatures. Like, I just thought that this was just some cute book, and it ended up being the most wholesome, cutest book ever. But I didn't expect a fantasy realm to be all up in the girl. I honestly just thought this was just going to be like another just fiction book, but it wasn't. Just your typical like real life fiction book. But I will say that the reason why that this was my top one is because I related to the main character so much, in the sense of the main character experienced life as one big bubble. Like, he was in this bubble. These are the rules. Why would you break those rules? Why do anything to upset anyone? Just do your duty, do this, like do XYZ, and XYZ is gonna happen for you. You know, like, that's life. If you do what's expected of you, you'll get, I don't know, a mediocre life. And I felt like that's partially how I was raised religiously. And I didn't feel a whole lot of fulfillment. I didn't find myself in my previous religion. And the main character ends up being like finding out like, oh my gosh, there's so much more to life if you think of XYZ, like, or they just start to realize that things aren't all as they seem, and that there's so much happiness to thinking outside of whatever this is, outside of the rules. And I related to that. Like, I can now enjoy a cup of coffee without being guilt tripped. Like, oh my gosh. And not being told I'm worthy just for a cup of coffee. So like I don't know, I feel so much happier, more fulfilled in my life with being able to choose things that I think that make me a good person. Like, as long as you're becoming a better person every single day, I think that's honestly all that matters. But anyways, this isn't to go into like a religious spiel. I just felt like the main character went through a whole awakening of their life, and it shook them to their core, and they had to figure out who they were with this realization. And that is exactly what I had to go through. And to like how the book ended was on just such a happy note, and I'm getting emotional, but that's how I feel now. Like, you go through so much, like, and you're like, oh my gosh, am I supposed to feel this way? Am I allowed to feel this way? And all of a sudden it's like, wait, I have this potential to have this big happy life. Like, yeah, I think I'm going to choose that. So House in Ceruleance, I would highly recommend. It is like the biggest blanket you've ever had wrapped around you. The characters are just so likable and so loving, and it is interesting to imagine them. I would like to see some fan art of them. I'm surprised I actually haven't even looked up the fan art. But I did look up a potential cast, you know, like people like saying, oh, this is who I think would be portrayed as the main character. But yeah, those were my top 5 books. I honestly don't know if I'd be able to do a top 10 because I like so many other ones. These ones just really spoke to me in a very emotional manner and got me kickstarted on reading again and reading fantasy. So I am just like, these books, highly recommend. These mean a lot to me, like for more than just like a good writing, like, or good read, you know? There was something about them that made me click with something. Okay. Anyways, thanks for watching this video, guys. I'm very excited for you to come along this journey of books, and I hope to incorporate more reading and just more bookish things on this channel. And I know that I was originally more like a makeup lifestyle coffee reviewing channel, which I think I'm still going to incorporate the coffee. Makeup, I don't know. Someone suggested I should review books a little bit more into detail while doing my makeup, so I might give that a try. We'll see. But I think I'm definitely going to be incorporating books, and I want to be more consistent with how often I post, which I'm hoping for at most 2 videos a week, but at minimum once a week. And I hope that you guys enjoy the content that I bring. I know reading is not everyone's cup of tea, so anyone that continues to watch my videos that aren't avid readers, thank you so much for watching. Your support means a lot. Anyways, thanks guys, have a great rest of your day, and I hope 2022 brings you so much happiness and hope and love. Thanks guys, bye.